Seat allocations are a fucking joke. Welcome to my first rant, which is seat allocations on sports stadiums. Now, I know this logic can also apply to theatres and cinemas, but I rarely go to the theatre, so I don't have enough knowledge on that, and most of the cinemas I go to is sit where you want. So they're pretty much out the window. So that's why I've just based this at stadiums. Now, most of it I'm just going to talk football. However, I have been to cricket, and I know all this logic I'm going to talk about will apply to all sports, all stadiums, basically. So let's get. I'm more of a standing person, someone who stands in terraces. So I don't really need to experience this a lot, but basically, with this kind of thing, but I will have to go through this stuff at away games because as you're going to get, most of them is going to be seating. Now, well, basically allocated seats is like being reserved, and you have to go there. Like, you're gonna be going at that certain place. So it's not bad if you when you first hear it, but then do you want to know the big problem? You don't get to choose where you sit, and I call that bullcrap. Why? Because you might find you are in a bad position. You can't see very well. Like maybe you've got some big person sat in front of you you can't see, or if you have problems with your sight, you might not get to see from all the way at the back. But I'll go to some of the sections. If you're lucky, you could get a back seat. For me, that's the best place to get. You can start an atmosphere, stand up, and you don't look so much. No. Front, well, it's not my personal favourite. There's still some cons, some pros to come from there. You don't have to worry about squeezing past people. You can go to toilets easily, the refreshments easily. Hey, and also, if you're lucky, if your team scores in front of you, and the players celebrate with the fans, you can just go celebrate with them. It's not like you have to go run all the way from the back downstairs to join in the party. Pardon me. But the middle, yeah, that's definitely the worst, because you got to squeeze past people. You've got to just sit there. Hopefully, maybe you might come across some nice people, but you can't really start an atmosphere there. And even so, you're just kind of sit, and even if you do sing, you just kind of have to sit down, and the sing's just kind of off when you're sat down. Now, I had that experience at Oxford United, which is one of the 7 away grounds I went to last season. I wasn't in a good position, and it's just it wasn't a great experience until when we awarded the penalty and everyone just stood up for the last 4 minutes. Maybe 7 if you included the full-time whistle and the celebrations. And I was lucky enough to get a backseat ticket at Portsmouth on my second away game, which was Plymouth. I wasn't supposed to be there, but I managed to get. I just snuck it over to the back seat, and you could argue that was part of the reason some of the chaos down there was caused, although other people have that same motivation as me. And Northampton, while I was at the front, luckily 3/4 of that stand were standing up, and also, again, I got to celebrate near the front with the equaliser. But all that aside, it's just fucking shit that you can't even you don't even get to first of all, your options are limited. It's like you can't just sit wherever you want. And second of all, even when you book the ticket, okay, computers, maybe you can do this, but if you're like going to buy a ticket, you don't even get to choose what row you go into. So, yeah, what problems could this cause? Well, maybe short-sighted people, or maybe people who haven't got very good sights, they might get a back seat and they haven't got a great view of what's going on. So that's a problem that can occur there. Other problems is you can get a extremely big person sat in your way, like whether it's a tall skinny person or a huge overweighted person. Then I can block that. That also can I can lose your vision of what's ahead of you, and you instead have to. You can only see like sideways. And also another problem with well, actually, this is a problem. And sometimes you might get overweighted people that go as far as having to take over the some other seats, because there's something. Don't get me wrong, they can't help it, but the fact you can't sit there and it's your exact seat, and like when you go sit somewhere else, some asshole. Well, actually, maybe not asshole, but someone goes on rambling about how that's my seat. It's not really, and it's not really your fault, because your seat has pretty much been taken. A majority of the room has been taken. That's pretty much a problem. And now, if you go to games where it's not too far, it's quite a long way, and not everyone's going to go. So you can choose where you sit, and luckily stewards don't really fault you for that, which is a nice change of pace. So there's that. But these problems mainly occur when it's home games. Actually, that doesn't apply to me, but it can apply to some all-seater stadiums. And away games. Sellout away games. Or like a lot. But you've got the idea. View Cinema, I might have said this before, but it's taken me a lot of takes to try and get this right, so I'll just say it now. But View Cinema, it's not somewhere I often go to, but but I only go to if I want to see movies with some friends that live around there. They kind of know what. While there's as allocated seats, you can choose where you sit. You've got a screen there, and while football stadiums, they don't have a screen. You can at least okay, that's better. But what I do want to say is you could at least try and you could at least okay, you can go somewhere else. Should have scripted this, but you could at least try and they could at least allow you the option where to sit. There we go. I don't want to turn into another Markiplier, but here's the thing. It's pretty shit. What are your thoughts on allocated seats? Do you totally agree? Are you a old dude or a family man who totally disagrees? And I know some people will make the argument, oh, with allocated seats you can sit together. Well, that doesn't change any of the facts that I've stated. And even so, you could just get there earlier and you don't get to have that problem. So yeah, my thoughts, it's pretty shit. But what do you think?